All right, Rob, the NFL, I have a feeling you and I might be trashing the NFL, but one of their proposals that they're putting forth, or at least talking about and discussing, Rob G is going to share the details with us about that. Go ahead, Rob.
That's right. The NFL schedule makers will be putting out a schedule here in about a week and a half or so. Now, the plan is to have a 16-game, 17-week season as usual, but they do have some contingency plans. One of them that's being proposed involves delaying the Super Bowl 3 weeks, which is not that big of a deal. I think we can handle that one. But it would also include eliminating bye weeks so they could still play a full 16 games, eliminating the Pro Bowl, and eliminating the bye week before the Super Bowl. So theoretically, if your team made the Super Bowl, you would have possibly played for 20 straight weeks.
Yeah, let me first start off on a good note. I like eliminating the Pro Bowl.
Have they played the Pro Bowl? Have they played it? I'm trying to remember.
Did they? What is it? Yeah, there's a game. They're still playing the game. I just haven't watched it
in a long time.
Yeah, it's the worst. I mean,
I
all
love football, but I don't love
apart.
that. I don't know what that is.
It's really become bad. So I'm fine with that. I like that part. Outside of that, though, I don't like it. And Rob, we've gone at the NFL about this. I think it's hypocritical to talk about the safety of the players and still at the same time push for 17 or 18 games. And they're getting their 17. The players did agree to it. In 2021 is when that'll start. But I just think don't tell me on the one hand you care about player safety, but yet you want to give them one more regular season game where they have a chance to get hurt. And now you're talking about taking away the bye week in the regular season and before the Super Bowl? I mean, Rob hit it on the head. 20 straight weeks of football? That is tough. And why not? I think a better thing is why not have a 14-game regular season? They used to play 14 games. Back when O.J. Simpson rushed for 203 yards, 2,003 yards,
12 games.
It was 14 games. And at one point they played 12 when Jim Brown was playing. So a 14-game season is plenty of time to find out who the best 7 are in each conference. So I think what would be best is if you played 14 games, if indeed you have to delay the start of the season, and give them their bye week, give them the bye week before the Super Bowl, and go on about business as usual. But look, it's a business, right? They're trying to make as much money as they can. And you know this, Rob, they have no problem extending into February, like deep into February, because they want to control and dominate the media coverage as long as they can.
Yeah, I guess this is, again, it's all about money and not about player safety and whether or not it's good for people or players who might get injured along the way, careers shorten, all that other stuff. It just doesn't matter. It's like we got this money on the table, and we got to produce 16 weeks of games to get all our money. That's what it comes down to.
Yep.
We don't want to take less. We don't want to cut it back. We don't want to do what's right. There's a reason you put bye weeks in, right? To now say all of a sudden a bye week doesn't matter?
Unnecessary.
Then why would we ever have a bye week? Hello? Is this on? They used to play without bye weeks, but they got greedy. So they put bye weeks in to try to pacify the players. Now you're telling us that the bye weeks don't matter. How don't they matter? Why? Because you want money. Right. Chris is bad. The Players Association should never go for this. How? 20 weeks in a row? And if somebody gets hurt or seriously hurt, are you going to take care of that player because they didn't get a break during the season? No. It ain't right. It ain't right.
I agree totally. And they're already making money hand over fist. Okay, yeah, we know you're losing money during the virus. So is everybody else.
Everybody, Chris,
right.
everybody.
And you're gonna make it back much more than most people. And so I don't want to hear that. You said it, Rob. Look, we all love the NFL, but this isn't right. This is not right. And I'll tell you what else. It's gonna be a bad product. Because preseasons, if this comes to pass where they do have to start later It's a truncated preseason and all that. You're going to have a short preseason to get prepared. Maybe no preseason games. They not, and here's what's going to happen, Rob. They're not going to practice as much. Or certainly not as hard. They already have cut down on a lot of the hard practices, but it's going to be cut down more because there is no bye week. So the coaches are going to want to take it easy on the players to keep them fresh and all that. And then the product on the field is going to be subpar. And that is not good. Go with the 14 games. The NBA's gone with 50 games. They've gone with 66 games. And guess what? The seasons were great. Go with 14 games if you have to. The season will still be fantastic. You'll make plenty of money. Not as much, but plenty. And it'll be a better product.
Right. And the players will get what they need to perform better, Chris. This whole notion of just putting something on to collect your pay. I mean, these are extreme times. You think Macy's wants to be closed, Chris, for 6 weeks?
Right.
Seriously. They might not. When they come back, we might lose a third of Macy's stores in this country. You think they want to be out of business? I just don't get it.
There's a story today saying some colleges are going to go under if they don't start in the fall.
I believe it. I'm telling you it. You cannot sustain this. Nobody can. It's unbelievable how fragile, seriously, the economy. Chris, we're talking about 6 or 7 weeks, right? And look where we are. People on the brink.
Right. Yeah, and look, like we said, at the end of the day, this should be about the players and their safety. And I don't think this is the best way to go about it. I don't think this is the best way to keep the players healthy. And, we've talked about it before, Rob. What's the Players Association doing?
Nothing.
We say it on and I know, look, we don't have all the ins and the outs. We don't know every detail. We don't. Right. We don't know all the dotted I's and the crossed T's of the contracts and all that. And we inevitably always get a guy that used to work for the union coming on and telling us the healthcare thing is great and the package is wonderful and this and that. All we know is it ain't nearly as good as the NBA's and Major League Baseball's.
It just
isn't. You need it more than anybody.
Right.
The football players need it more than any of these other athletes.
The Football Players Union should be the strongest. They got $11 billion, $12 billion business, Chris. They could shut the league down tomorrow. Didn't we see what the players in Missouri did? The football players,
college.
What did they do? College kids.
They threatened not to play one weekend. And remember, this student had been on a hunger fast for nearly 40 days.
Right.
And nothing was happening. And so the players decided we're supportive of this student and what he's fighting for.
No game.
We're not playing. Right. And within 2 days, the president was gone. The students got what they wanted, and they didn't even miss a game.
That's what I'm.
And these are non-scholarship, or these are scholarship guys, Rob.
This is at Mizzou,
they're not making millions. Most of them won't even make the NFL. Most of those guys, who knows what they're doing?
But they all banded together,
right?
Yes.
So we beat this horse all the time. The players union needs to stand up. And I get it. It's complicated because you got guys that are only going to be playing 3 or 4 years. And they want to get that $600,000.
Let's make those 3 or 4 years even better, Chris. Let's make them for the next guy. There might be a sacrifice, and everything that's worth fighting for, there's a sacrifice. Am I right?
Yeah.
There's a sacrifice that's there.
Well,
don't forget, and I don't want to make it, but there were a lot of people, Chris, a lot. And I'm not trying to equate playing football and players to the civil rights. But there were people who went to the Woolworths counter day after day after day. Spit on, stuff thrown at them, name called, just for the right. That was what they gave. Did you think they wanted that to go on? But they did it.
And they did it for the future, for their
not
offspring.
for them.
Right. They knew they weren't going to see all the benefits. And so, like you said, we don't want to make it totally about that. But sacrifice is a good example.
It's about a sacrifice.
Of
that was
sometimes
just
you
the
got to
point.
make a sacrifice.
Exactly. That was my point. It's not equal. You can't equate
Kurt
the two.
Flood, if we want to put it to sports, Kurt Flood
gave up his baseball career.
Free agency, all of this stuff it started with him in all the sports.
In all sports, he was the guy who gave up his career. Guys, go Google it. Read about Kurt Flood. He's the one who went to the Supreme Court and got his freedom.
And here's the thing, Rob. It wouldn't even come to that. If the players, as they're meeting with the NFL and discussing a return to, the season and all the different options, just say, look, we want the bye week, period. We want the bye week. It's a non-negotiable. The players need it. You claim to be about their safety, give them the bye week. That's all it.
Right. That's all.
It won't. They need the players. So you're not gonna have to suffer too much, if at all. But you got to stand up at some point for it.
And the other thing is, it's a little arrogance because all the other leagues are going to have abbreviated schedules, but you can't. Of all the sports, you can't do it. It's against what? The NBA is going to do whatever it can to get the season going back, and it ain't going to be what we're used to. Major League Baseball talking about starting the season in July when it starts in late March. Yep. And the NFL can't give up 2 games. Can't give up 2 games? Come on, Chris.
Nah, I'm right there with you, man. So hopefully, we don't know what the future holds as far as this virus and when the leagues will start up. But I don't like this proposal. I'd rather see 14 games and a bye week than 17 games or 16 games and no bye week and then no bye week before the Super Bowl. What do you guys think? 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Does the NFL's proposed schedule without bye weeks prove once and for all that they really don't care about player safety? We'll continue the conversation with you next.
All right, let's start with Chris in Maryland. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Chris?
Buddy.
What's up?
What's happening, man?
Okay, good, thank you. I disagree with you guys. I think in today's society, it's all about entertainment. And I think the NFL is trying to deliver that to the average fan. I would suggest one solution to each team. Instead of having a 53-man roster, maybe increase it to a 60-man roster, so there will be less injuries throughout the whole season.
Here's the thing, though. Most of those dudes at the end of that roster aren't going to play, and don't even think about suggesting that some of the stars play less, right? We want to see the big names. You're talking about entertainment. That's what's entertaining. So, look, of course they want to bring entertainment, and they're not wrong for wanting to make money.
But it ain't a variety show. It ain't a Broadway show.
Just don't tell us in one breath you care about the safety of the players. That's what Rob and I have said. Don't tell us that you care about the safety, but you want to keep playing more and more and more games. That 16 is enough. It's enough. This is football, man. It's dangerous.
Every play, Chris, you could wind up getting hurt.
Yep.
That's every play. So that's why I think you got to be careful not to overdo it. How about Chris in Iowa? You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Chris?
Hey, not much. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
What's going on in Iowa?
What part of Iowa?
I live in Ankeny.
Oh, I know Ankeny. I lived in Des Moines for a few years. Went to Dowling. We used to beat up on Ankeny in sports.
Oh, did you now? I grew up in south side of Des Moines, so I went to Lincoln.
Oh, we used to beat up on Lincoln, too.
Everybody did.
Ankeny, isn't that what you throw off the boat so that it won't adrift? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you got jokes, don't you?
He got jokes. They ain't funny, but he got them.
Yeah. Hey. I'll amen to that.
All right, Chris, what you got?
I just think it's ludicrous that they would propose having a season without bye weeks. I mean, these guys are coming full-fledged speed at each other, injuries galore, and now you don't want to give them time to heal up. I don't agree with it.
Yeah,
that's all we're talking about. We want to
it.
see football like the next guy. We do.
Yep.
But don't deviate from what you've been doing just to make a buck. And that's all it is, Chris.
That's all we're saying.
That's all it is.
Because
they want all of the TV money.
Making the money. Yep. The players are the ones making the money, and not to belittle what the executives are doing, because obviously that's important as well.
Yes.
But it's just not necessary. It's just not necessary to have no bye weeks. And again, the Super Bowl team, as Rob G said, could play 20 weeks straight.
20 weeks, which is incredible. All right, Marcel in Mississippi, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Marcel?
Hey, what's up, Rob? Glad to hear you back, man, in good spirits, man. What's up, Chris?
Thanks, bud.
But I agree with y'all, man. It's a terrible idea. Nobody want to see that fourth-string player on the field in week 15 or even 5, man. Like, taking away these weeks, man, these bye weeks, we should give the players more bye weeks, to be honest. And if you really want to talk about it, the NFL don't care. They just want to throw out some, narrative that, to make it a good league and things like that. But to be honest, they don't care, man, if they taking away these bye weeks for these players, man.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure of course, in the perfect world, they want great quality and games and all that, but they know people are going to watch regardless.
Right.
So even if the quality suffers, people are going to watch it. It's the NFL.
And people are dying for stuff. I get it. If it's a perfect world, Chris, and everything is back to normal tomorrow once we snap our fingers, have a full season and do everything.
Yep.
But you can't cut corners on player safety. No cutting corners on player safety. That's what we're talking about.
And if you have to, Rob, if you insist on playing the 16 games, then keep the bye week. And if you go a little longer into March, so be it. That's probably where we've talked about it with baseball and basketball. Then you probably run into some complications with, your TV deals, perhaps, right?
Right.
Because, the other sports. So I don't know if that's an issue, but
it could be
give them the bye
say
week.
if Fox had the Super Bowl and Fox has Major League Baseball, right?
Right.
It could be a conflict or something like that. I mean, that just
we're not sure, but that might be an issue.
How about Chris in Tucson? You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. Boy, you got a lot of Chris's calling in.
Yeah,
really?
A lot. This is the third
My
one.
crew.
That's three. Chris texted all of you guys to try to help him out.
Don't be stealing my jokes, man.
What's up, Chris?
And guys, I love your show, by the way, and this might be a very unpopular take, but here's my question. Who cares about the player safety? I'm going to be brutally honest.
Chris and I
hang
do.
on.
Right,
Hear me out, though. Hear me out, though. But they don't care about us.
And you do. And you do, too.
No,
because, hold on. Who's your favorite player?
My favorite player is Adam Thielen.
Okay, let's say Adam Thielen and Kirk Cousins get hurt in week 3 next season. You going to like that?
Well, I'm not going to like it, but here's my take. Why is the narrative always like, why are we so concerned about the player safety? They make millions of dollars. They get paid to go out there. It's like going on the front lines, and we have to take this narrative. Again, I don't know if this is a popular take, but why we're so concerned about these guys? Like,
because
this is
Chris,
what they signed up for, guys.
No, Chris, that attitude you have is wrong. Yes, they signed up to play a violent sport. We understand that, but you want to make it as safe as possible. People used to work in factories in terrible working conditions, right? And all of that. And you say, well, you know what you signed up for. This is the job in a factory. No windows, Chris. No air circulating, right? This is what No. Things got better. Come on, Chris.
They're not in those conditions,
No, I'm not.
obviously.
I'm just saying how things get better over time is what I'm talking about.
Right. And look, I'm going to come at it from this perspective. Chris, Rob and I aren't the ones that have been beating the drum, even though obviously we want the players to be safe. We didn't start beating this drum, right? We weren't the ones talking about the player safety a few years ago and CTE and all of that. That's my main issue, is on the one hand, you're telling me you care about the player safety and concussions and so on and so forth. But on the other hand, you want to increase games? That doesn't make sense to me. That's all. So I grew up playing football and I loved it. And it was different than the day. And I didn't play at the high level and all that. But I'm just saying, I'm a football fan. And I like the old hitting and all that stuff. So I'm not the one that's been sitting here beating the drum of soften up the game and let this we can't have this and that anymore like we used to. We can't have 2-a-day practices and all that stuff. I'm not beating that drum. I'm just saying NFL don't beat that drum, but then on the other hand want to keep increasing games or now taking away a bye week. That's my thing. Just be straightforward and don't speak out of both sides of your mouth.
Let's squeeze in Jason in Virginia Beach. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jason?
Hey, what's up, guys? I appreciate you taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I want to start by saying this is strictly, on the NFL's part, this is a money grab. That's all it is.
Yep.
And anybody that grew up playing football, especially tackle football, let's say high school, because that's what I played, 2-a-days are hard enough.
Yes.
You're talking about you're going to have teams playing 18, 19, 20 weeks straight? Oh, it's just a matter of time. Dudes are going to be getting hurt permanently. And it's a straight money grab. That's all it is. It's not a concern for their safety. There is none of that. It's a straight money grab. And
yes.
I think it's disrespectful. That's all I had to say.
Man, thanks for the call, Jason.
We
He's
agree.
on the money there.
Yep.
He's on the money. That's
Yep.
all it is we don't want to miss any paychecks because we have a contract for 16 games, Chris, and we get all the money if we produce the 16 regular season games to the network. If we get 14, you know what they're going to do? They're going to prorate and cut our money by 2 games. That's what it is.
How about baseball? They're going to lose maybe half the season, right? They're talking about an 80 to 100 game schedule.
They have a huge, you know what we talk about all the time? The local TV package, Chris, and how much money baseball generates from the television because there's so many games. They're going to lose half their income.
Yep.
Half.
Yep. And now I guess it's time for Major League Baseball. Rob G, summarize what their latest proposal is.
That's right. It comes to us courtesy of our good friend Bob Nightingale. If I believe
One
Bob
of the best
Nightingale
baseball reporters in the country.
was he the one who didn't vote Jeter? That was his claim to fame on our show. I think something like that, right? For the Hall of Fame.
No,
Mariano.
no.
It was one of those.
Wasn't
it Bob?
Was it him?
I thought it was Bob.
It was
No,
Yeah,
it
you're
was-
right. Jeter was one guy that didn't vote.
Yeah,
We don't
I
know who
remember
that
it wasn't
though,
Bob
do we?
Nightingale.
I thought it was. I remember being very disappointed in Bob.
You know what your it was when we talked to him.
It was
and he
something we disagreed.
and he hadn't voted for. Who was the player who got in on his 15th year? He didn't vote for him all the time.
No, he did.
Oh,
vote
that's
for
right.
Larry
He did.
Walker.
That's
Larry
right. He
Walker.
voted him at
and
the
then
end.
he voted the last year.
So
Right.
we still
That
haven't
was
forgiven
it.
Bob for that, but he's a good
Exactly.
guy.
Well,
That was
Rob, you know how rude he is to the guests. So he
know
just
I am,
jumped
but
all
I don't
over
like
him,
that.
man.
but you know what? All jokes aside, he is a great reporter, and he's reporting this
yes.
one here for USA Today. Major League Baseball is considering a 3-division, 10-team plan that would allow, like I said, 10 teams per division, abolishing the National and American leagues in exchange for 10-team divisions geographically placed around the country, and each team playing at least 100 regular season games.
Look, I'll start because I'm not going to be as harsh, and I might not be harsh at all. You know what? Look, Rob, these are different times. You know, I'm going to the store with gloves and a face mask on nowadays.
And you ain't robbing the place.
Everything has changed. So one season, if it's going to help us have baseball and, you know, obviously having the teams geographically low, you know, in the divisions, that makes sense. That makes it easier to play the games. I get that. I'm fine with it. Rob, this is going to be a different season anyway. Now you're talking about 80 to 100 games. It's different. So I'm fine with it for this one season if that's what it comes to.
I still have a hard time, and maybe because I just can't see how that works out, how that figures in. If we're playing in certain cities, right? If we're playing in, why can't you play all over? I don't understand. If you're playing New York, Philly, Boston, D.C., right? And they're in one division, Chris. Then why can't you go anywhere or try? I don't understand that. If you're playing, why do you have to have some radical thing? If you're telling me you're not playing,
I think it's just going to make it easier because they're probably jamming the games together, kind of like we talk about football. but obviously, it's just not as
I can't
physically demanding as football. But
I just know,
that's probably what it is. They're not going to get as many days off. They're playing double headers, so maybe it just, rather than if a team is going to be playing more games in less time, if there's going to be double headers, it's better for them, New York, to play Toronto or Philadelphia or whoever.
Yeah, but who wants to see that
going
over
to
and
LA.
over and over? I'm just saying.
No, the divisions, they're going to they'll still play everybody, Rob G. You still play
They'll
everybody
play the
a couple
people within
times.
their division.
See, that's what I'm saying.
You won't
No,
play?
at least
No,
not
that's
temporarily, until they get
Wait,
everything
you'll play
sorted out.
100 games against those 10
Yes,
teams?
the same team.
According to the report, until there's something gets lifted where they can travel more freely
That's
and
what I'm
play
saying,
more comfortably, you would only play the teams in your division.
You know what? Then cut it to like 50 games.
It can't be 100. No, I'm
No,
right.
that's too. Yeah,
You're right,
I
though.
agree
But
with
you know what I
Now,
mean?
I didn't
It's-
know that part. Okay.
Yeah, that's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. I want to see baseball like anybody's killing me that we don't have any games to watch now. The weather's nice, beautiful. It's supposed to be at Dodger Stadium now.
Well,
And
Rob,
I
I'm glad
get
you
it.
brought that up. The silver lining is it would allow each team to play in their home stadium. Granted, there probably would not be any fans to start off with, but you would be able to have a Dodger game in Dodger Stadium and then a Rockies game in Colorado and things like that.
I wonder would the television put up like a what do they call it, cybergenic? What do they call what do they call that, CG?
Or CGI some fans in there.
Fake fans.
Fake fans, like
Look, I think they should. Don't try to fool people. Don't try to make it like, oh, we do have fans. No, just be honest. This is computer simulation or whatever you want to call it.
Computer generated, right?
Right. But I think it'd be. We talked about that with the NBA. You could funnel in, for the audience, crowd noise, right? And you could have fake fans in the stands. I think you saw what they did in Japan, where they had like cardboard cutouts and stuff like that. Did you see that?
Yeah, not a good sight. Yeah.
No, it wasn't good, but I'm just saying they tried to do something which it was funny. It was like a joke, I guess, but it didn't play well.
Didn't come
but
come off right.
I think it would be a better television experience if you have some fans there. But it's interesting because my wife and I watched Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you've seen it, Rob. Have you seen them do it since they've been doing it from home?
Yeah.
Which is I mean, for what they have to work with, I think they've done a good job. But I'm surprised they had, at least the ones I saw, they didn't use like the laugh box.
Yeah, the laugh track. You need the laugh track.
Right.
I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of doing my stand-up. I should just do it.
Bring in a
video,
laugh track.
and then let Alex have the laugh tracks, right? And then you send them to me, and then I'll say the joke and then play it. And then, exactly. Craig Melvin. And speaking of Craig Melvin, Rob G, can you call NBC News?
Did something happen?
No. We need to get Craig Melvin on the show.
I will effort it.
It's been too long.
He would be good. And I don't know if he's a sports fan or not, but it'd be nice to get him on. He's an MJ fan. We know that.
Yeah, we should get him on, right? I mean,
yes, that would be fun to have him on.
And he can also talk about all the news that's going on and stuff. I'm sure he got 15 minutes.
I'll be with that. But I just to wrap a bow around this, Rob, I'm with you. If this is what it's, I didn't realize that that's what they're talking about, just playing those 10 teams or 9 teams, opponents. Nah. I don't mind breaking up the divisions and making them geographic, but I'd rather you at least have one game, right? Or a couple games against other teams.
Yeah, it would just be, that's monotonous in baseball. You know what I mean? It just is. So I understand they're throwing a lot of stuff out, Chris. We've heard all these crazy things. The NBA's throwing everything out. We've heard all that.
Nothing.
But yeah,
if we have to take it, we'll take it. But
we need something.